When did you realize that your own mother truly deserves a special place in hell? My parents' marriage imploded when I was 13. The catalyst was purely financial betrayal. My mother didn't just make a bad investment, she secretly drained our savings, including my college fund, to bankroll her charismatic brother's doomed cryptocurrency startup. The revelation wasn't a tearful confession. It happened at 4:15 p.m. on a freezing Tuesday in November. I came home from middle school to find a bright yellow bank foreclosure notice zip tied to our front doorknob. When my dad confronted her, she didn't apologize. She just packed 2 suitcases and boarded a flight to Miami, claiming our suffocating middle-class life was stifling her potential. Over the next 3 years, I watched my father endure literal hell. He didn't crawl into a bottle, but he worked himself to the bone. He took a grueling graveyard shift managing a logistics warehouse just to keep a roof over our heads. I spent my freshman year eating dollar menu food and doing homework in his break room. Despite the exhaustion, he never missed a single one of my debate tournaments. He never dragged my mother's name through the mud. Meanwhile, my mother married a flashy commercial real estate developer named Marcus 8 months after the divorce. She moved into his sprawling penthouse and flooded Instagram with pictures of her new luxury life. She even had a daughter with him, Amelia, who got the pampered childhood stolen from me. Whenever I visited, Marcus would try to buy my affection with $500 drones and tailored suits. I returned every single item. Eventually, I grew exhausted from the bitterness. My high school counselor gently pointed out that my fury was only poisoning my own future. My dad agreed, telling me he had let go of his anger the day he finally paid off the last of her catastrophic debt. So, I tried to be civil. I tolerated my mother's superficial phone calls and stopped rejecting Marcus's presence. Things settled into a cold but functional peace. Then, 5 months ago, my dad introduced me to Emily. She is 41, works as a pediatric physical therapist, and drives a beat-up Honda Civic. She didn't try to force a connection. She simply asked about my college applications and actually paid attention. She brought a genuine, effortless warmth to our apartment, making my father laugh so loudly it echoed down the hallway. The collision happened last Saturday during a brunch celebrating my acceptance into a competitive pre-law program. My mother and Marcus insisted on attending. Everything was tense but manageable until my mother asked what Emily had gotten me. I pulled out the vintage leather-bound journal Emily had inscribed for me. My mother scoffed loudly, sipping her mimosa. She openly criticized the gift as cheap and thoughtless, then launched into a bitter tirade. She accused me of being completely blind, claiming she and Marcus spent years trying to shower me with premium experiences, yet I worshipped a woman who couldn't even afford a proper luxury brand. The restaurant faded into white noise. I set the journal down, stared directly into my mother's eyes, and let out a decade of suppressed rage. I told her exactly why I revered Emily. Emily didn't forge my father's signature to gamble away my future, I said, my voice sharp enough to cut glass. Emily didn't leave a foreclosure notice swinging on our front door while she ran off to South Beach. Emily stayed and actually built a life with the man she loves, instead of treating her family like an inconvenient stepping stone. Marcus tried to interrupt, telling me I was being an arrogant brat. I turned my fury onto him. You bought your way into a broken family and thought cash could erase the trauma. I fired back. You don't get a say in my gratitude. I looked at my mother one last time. Emily is helping my dad build a foundation. You just left us standing in the rubble. I walked out of the restaurant and paid for my own Uber home. I haven't spoken to either of them since, but the real chaos started yesterday morning. My dad called me, sounding completely stunned. Marcus's real estate empire was a massive house of cards. The SEC raided his corporate offices on Thursday for orchestrating a massive Ponzi scheme. All of their assets, including the penthouse and the bank accounts, have been permanently frozen by the federal government. My phone is now flooded with frantic voicemails from my mother, sobbing hysterically, begging me to ask my father if she can temporarily move into our spare bedroom. I am sitting on my couch, watching the news coverage of Marcus's arrest, staring at her incoming calls. Part of me knows she is desperate, but another part just wants to let it ring forever.